You know that dream you had when you started your business, the one about freedom and flexibility and actually enjoying your life? Well, what if you feel more trapped now than ever before? Today, we're going to get into the blueprint for building a business that's truly bigger than you, one that's actually designed to give you your life back. It's this classic picture, right? On one side, you've got the dream. You're calling the shots, you've got freedom, you're making a real impact. But then there's the reality for so many of us. You're stuck doing endless tasks, you're constantly putting out fires, and let's be honest, you've become the #1 bottleneck in your own company. So how in the world do we fix this? Well, first things first, we've got to understand what we're up against. It's called the entrepreneur's trap. And you can think of it like this powerful, invisible force that just keeps pulling you back into the weeds, keeping you stuck doing every little thing yourself. It's what stops your business from ever growing beyond what you, personally, can handle. And a big part of that trap is focusing on the wrong things. So take this guy, Charlie. He dropped 100 grand on all the shiniest equipment, the best software, you name it. But he had 0 customers. Why? Because he completely forgot about the only 2 things that actually build a business: a way to sell your stuff and a team to help you deliver it. He was trapped by focusing on things instead of people and process. And then there's this, the burnout cycle. This is Susan's story. She was totally overwhelmed, so she hired someone into panic. She didn't train them, just kind of threw them in the deep end, and then got frustrated when they kept making mistakes. So what happened? She fired them, all the work landed right back on her plate, and she burned out. I mean, does that sound familiar to anyone? It's a vicious cycle.
Okay, so how do we break out of these traps? How do we stop the cycle? It all starts with a huge shift in your thinking, a massive one. You've got to stop hiring resumes and start hiring people.
And man, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Think about it. You can teach somebody skills all day long. You can show them how to use your software or follow a checklist. But you can't teach them to be hungry, to be motivated, to actually care about what you're building. That has to come from inside. Let's break it down. The old way, right? You're just looking at a resume, trying to fill a slot. Your goal is to fill a role, and what you get is a paid employee. But the new way, it's all about character, motivation, and values. Your goal is to find a true partner. And the result? You get an invested teammate, someone who thinks and acts like an owner. That is a total game changer. All right, but here's the thing. Even the most amazing, motivated person on the planet is set up to fail if you just throw them into chaos. They need a map. That's why the next step is absolutely critical. You have to create your business playbook, and this is key, you do this before you hire them, not after. I love this analogy. Just think about it for a second. Would you hire a great chef, walk them into a kitchen full of ingredients, and say, okay, make me a 5-star meal, but give them 0 recipes? Of course not. You'd expect a disaster. Yet that's exactly what so many of us do when we hire someone. We expect magic without giving them the recipe. And that's exactly what your business processes are. They are your company's recipe for success. This isn't about micromanaging or boxing people in. It's about empowering them. It's about giving them the guide they need to create amazing, consistent results time and time again. And when we say playbook, we're not talking about some vague mission statement. We're talking about the real nitty-gritty. How do you bring a new client on board? What's the exact process for invoicing? What's your quality checklist? Every single one of these documented steps is one less question they have to ask you and one less chance for something to go wrong. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Won't all these rules and systems kill creativity? Well, think about a great jazz musician. They aren't just hitting random notes. They have mastered the scales, the chords, the structure. And it's that mastery of the fundamentals that gives them the freedom to improvise and create something beautiful. Your systems are the scales for your business. They're the foundation for true innovation. Okay, so we've got the right people. We've built them a playbook for success. Now, let's talk about the money. It's time for another big mindset shift. We have to learn how to turn our costs into actual growth engines. For a lot of businesses, this pie chart probably looks pretty familiar, right? A huge chunk of the money, maybe 70%, is just going to maintenance. Keeping the lights on, paying for things that don't actually grow the company. But to really scale, we have to start flipping that ratio. We have to intentionally invest in things that move the needle forward. Check out this story about Sandra. Her factory had awful cash flow problems, and she was blaming the economy, the market, everything else. But the real problem? Invoices were a mess and just weren't going out on time. The fix wasn't some huge, expensive overhaul. It was a simple checklist for her salespeople. That's it. That one little system completely fixed her cash flow in a matter of months. So this brings up a really powerful question for you to ask. Look at every single role in your company. Does that role generate more value than it costs? Is your customer service person just putting out fires, or are they creating loyal fans who bring in referrals? Every single position, every salary has to be seen as an investment in growth. And when you put all these pieces together, the right people, the powerful playbook, and that growth-focused financial mindset, something pretty incredible happens. You unlock the final stage. You get the ability to lead from a distance and finally become the visionary your company needs you to be.
So what does a business that runs itself actually look like? Well, it's built on these 3 pillars. You have to have mutual trust, so your team feels empowered to make decisions without you. You need fluid communication, where information just flows naturally. And you have to build uplifting partnerships where everybody feels like an owner. That's the secret sauce. And the author of this book, Kelly, she actually walked this walk herself. Years ago, people thought she was crazy for investing so much in training her team on skills they didn't even need yet, but she was planting seeds. And because she did that, she grew a team so capable and so innovative that her company is now the one setting the standards for their entire industry. So when you boil it all down, it really comes to this one final question for you. And it's a big one, because following these ideas isn't just about getting more free time or making more money. It's about deciding what you're really trying to do here. Are you just building a really demanding job for yourself? Or are you building a legacy, something that can grow and change and thrive long after you've decided to step away?